candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumiah. Please, let's acknowledge the presence of the Vice President of the Republic. Your Excellency, this evening, gathered here are your creative arts people. These citizens of yours are people who are always thinking outside the box and doing things that are quite unique and to keep this country going in several aspects. We have here present musicians, we have members of Gamro here, we have the Ghana Hotels Association here, we have our tour operators here, we have fashion designers here, we have people from the film industry here, we also have Ghana Actors Guild here, and the room is a packed one. His Excellency, the Vice President, the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, I believe we are acknowledged, is also in the creative arts industry because he's a creative politician. Please put your hands together for Dr. Bawumiah. Undoubtedly and arguably the most creative vice president this country has seen. So he is one of you, he is a colleague. Please, let's acknowledge him. I would, at this juncture, invite Mr. Kwesi Oteng to give us the opening prayer, please.
Shall we please rise to our feet? Say this prayer. Our Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts. Guide our discussions, unite our thoughts, and bless our time together here today. Amen. Thanks. Please take your seats.
We would call Mr. Akwesi Ajimai, the CEO for Ghana Tourism Authority, to
Thank you very much. Ago! Your Excellency, our Vice President and incoming President, Dr. Bawumiah. Oh, I heard amen. Yes. Amen. My Minister, the Honorable Ejab, significant gathering. I call it significant because today, every subsector in the creative arts and tourism sector is here represented. It is an honor for me to be here as our incoming President and our Vice President, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, host this meeting with the creative arts and tourism sector. And I must thank all of you for honoring this invitation at relatively very short notice. It shows that it is possible. Yes. Today we unite under the theme, driving Ghana's arts and tourism future with innovation. It is possible. This meeting is pivotal in shaping the future of our creative sector as our Vice President lays down his plan, bold solutions that he has for the sector. And as practitioners and colleagues, we are here also to interact and explore how we drive deep into these innovative strategies to propel our industry forward. And so as we are here, let us all harness our collective strength, our collective efforts, and our positive energy towards this gathering so that together we can create a brighter future for Ghana. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
So we also have our music producers and publishers here in our presence. Please let's acknowledge them as well. And then we have creative and tourism journalists and critics. So the critics, are they here, please? Let's acknowledge the critics as well. I could say, where are they? I don't see, let's see your hands, please, the critics. Okay. Uncle Fred, I don't know, these days he does criticism as well. So. Uncle Fred, you're a producer and a critic as well. Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister for Tourism and Member of Parliament for Sekendi. Member of Parliament for Sekendi, Honorable Ejapa Mesa, please let's welcome him to the podium.
Thank you very much, Miracles. His Excellency, the Vice President, the presidential candidate of the new Patriotic Party and incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, inshallah, come January 2025. Agency heads from the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, members of the 2024 MPP Manifesto Committee, heads of industry, heads of trade associations in the sector, our esteemed artists, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the existing protocols that have been established by Miracles and to perform my task, if you may. My role here really is very simple: to set the tone with respect to the achievements of the new Patriotic Party over the past 7 years and 9 months, 10 months, so that His Excellency, the Vice President and flag bearer of the party, can outline his vision of bold solutions for the sector. Indeed, in 2016, when we came into government, we came under the promise of some key initiatives that we intended to roll out to support the sector. We indicated the establishment of a Creative Arts Council to serve as a platform for engagement with the creative arts sector. We also indicated the setting up of a Creative Arts Fund to provide financial support to artists and creative enterprises. We committed to empower the Ghana Tourism Authority to promote Ghana as a prime tourism destination. We committed to constructing new theaters to boost local arts and provide venues to performances, and to enhance our diaspora engagement by strengthening the connection with the global Africa diaspora. And last but not the least, improving tourism infrastructure as a basis for developing essential facilities for tourists. That was the basis on which the NPP was given the mandate by the good people of this country, including your good selves, to administer the affairs of state. We indeed set up the Creative Arts Council, which then oversaw the passage of the Creative Arts Act, leading to the establishment of the Creative Arts Agency. As we speak, even though late in coming, I have submitted nominations for the board to His Excellency for consideration and approval. Indeed, it came to my attention when I became minister during one of my engagement with industry stakeholders that even though the council had been set up, the board had not been established. And so I have taken steps in that regard to make sure that that commitment is fully implemented. We rolled out the National Film Authority as a pioneering development of the film sector. A lot of initiatives have gone in there as we speak. On my table for finalization and submission to Cabinet for approval is the Shoot in Ghana policy, the initiative of the National Film Authority under the able leadership of Juliet Asante. She has successfully organized 2 cinema summits, Africa Cinema Summit last year and this year, to promote film in Ghana. We are undertaking the processes of setting up the Creative Arts Fund to support the growth and innovation in the sector. This is yet to be launched, and we're working to get His Excellency the President to launch it before the end of his tenure. We have constructed some theaters. Indeed, we've completed the theater in Koforidua. We commenced the construction of amphitheaters in Kumasi, Takrady, Tamale, and Accra. That has stalled for a bit because of funding. But only 2 days ago, we got approval for additional funding under the Ghana Tourism Development Project, World Bank support of 10 million, of which a portion is going to be used to complete the amphitheaters and also build the Heroes Park here in Accra to honor our fathers who fought with their blood and toil for the liberation of our country. The Takrady Center for National Culture, which started in 1989, under my leadership and under the graciousness of His Excellency the President, the Finance Minister has released funds for its completion. As we speak, there's a contractor on site working to ensure that this facility is completed within 6 months. This will go a long way to creating a platform for performances in the Western region when your good selves happen to be in the West, where I happen to be from as well. Presently, as we speak, the Convention and Exhibition Center is under construction at the Ghana Trade Fair Company site in La. Those of you who are familiar with Zenith College, I'm sure when you're driving by, you'll see the structure coming up beautifully in that enclave. It would help in our MICE agenda in making Ghana a meeting, incentives, and conferences and event center. We have taken steps through the initiatives such as the Year of Return and the December in Ghana, to deepen our cultural festivals and tourist attractions and promote tourism and creative arts, which really serves as the content for tourism here in Ghana. We also committed and are working on the tax incentive policy, which was submitted to Cabinet by my predecessor, Dr. Wale. There were issues that were raised, and we are liaising with the Ministry of Finance to conclude a framework based on the new Exemptions Act that was passed by Parliament in 2020. We have established the first ever Music Hall of Fame in 2nd D. We are working on the redevelopment of the Nationalism Park and the Geese Park into major tourist sites. We have submitted to Cabinet for approval a revised culture policy for Ghana. It was set up for review in 2019. A committee was reconstituted in 2024, and the document has been duly submitted as of last week to Cabinet for approval. It's my expectation that the next Cabinet meeting will consider that and give us approval to roll out the new culture policy for Ghana. In July of 2024, His Excellency the President approved the amount of $126 million for the restoration of all our 28 forts and castles over a 4-year period, with a disbursement of $12 million for the year 2024. As all our forts and castles, the existing ones, 24, 4 are in ruins. Government has started a process of making sure that they are not delisted from World Heritage Sites. I'm sure you're all very familiar with the Creative Arts School that also has been set up in Kwadaso in Kumasi. Construction delayed a bit, but GetFund is actively working to make sure that it's completed in good time to provide the requisite training platform for our creative industry. On the event side and initiatives, we rolled out the Afro Future, Little Havana, Rhythm on the Runway, Wilderland, which have been supported by government through the Ghana Tourism Authority to benefit sector operators. We have improved the operations of the Ghana Tourism Authority through a framework development and infrastructure improvements and enhanced marketing efforts that have put Ghana on the world stage, such that our tourism arrivals have hit 1.14 million visitors as of the end of last year, 2023. We never used to have those numbers coming to Ghana in the past. Initiatives such as the See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana, and initiatives have significantly led to a growth in domestic tourism, reaching a record of 1.4 million in 2023. Government has upgraded significant tourist sites. Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park readily comes to mind. Worked on the Accra Tourism Information Center, the Kintampo Waterfalls, Tafi Atome Monkey Sanctuary, the Salaga Slave Market, Bonre Kentebu Museum, Odunoma Paragliding Site, Bunso Eco Park, and the Pikoro Slave Camp have all seen significant developments that have led to visitor uptake in those locations.
The Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, an MP for Second D, an incoming MP again for Second D, CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, members of GAMRO, Ghana Hotels Association, tour operators, fashion designers, film producers, the Actors Guild, music producers and publishers, the creative and tourism journalists and critics, and content creators, Association of Writers, radio hosts and presenters, painters and artists, hairstylists union, models union, and visual artists, and all other protocols observed. I'd like to thank all of you for making the time, because you are all very busy people, to have this interaction this evening. We should have really had this interaction much earlier than this, and timing and scheduling prevented this. I was in Bono East region yesterday and came in today to have a meeting, and one of the meetings that I was to have today when we were looking was with GAMRO and also music and producers, music producers. We were going to meet, they were going to give me an update on the streaming platform that they've been working on for quite a few years now, that we've been trying to look at this issue. And then the idea came that, well, whilst I'm in town, why don't we just see if we can get the creative arts as well as the tourism sector to have this meeting this evening. And I said, well, that would be great if it can be organized. And this is why the notice was pretty short for you. So I'm most grateful for you taking that time to be here. The creative arts and tourism sectors are, of course, very critical sectors for our economy. They employ very high numbers of people, and in terms of economic growth for a developing country such as Ghana, it's very clear that these are sectors that we really need to pay attention to if we are going to deal with the issues of economic growth and job creation. They are really growth poles. Unfortunately, over the years, these are sectors where there has been really a lot of underinvestment in over the years. And like with everything else, if you don't invest, if you don't sow and you don't nurture, you cannot harvest of anything of significance. And so I think that as I think forward about what we do in this sector, it's very important that we sow and we nurture before we can harvest from the sector. What is very clear and that is established is that we have a huge talent pool in the creative arts sector for Ghana. And God has also given us a lot of sun and beaches and other tourist sites in this country that we can also leverage on for tourism. So it is very important, therefore, that for any government we need to recognize, and I think our government has, I mean, you've seen some of the investments that we've been making over the last few years. We've recognized, and it's important that we recognize even more the importance of investing in the creative arts and in tourism. So we are going to commit a significant public sector investment to support the development of the creative arts and tourism in our country, because I believe that the returns to that investment in terms of job creation is so much better and so big. If I put, say, $100 million worth of investment in a road, and I put $100 million worth of investment in the creative arts sector, I'm telling you that the returns will be higher in the creative arts sector. Much higher. And you will build a lot more, create a lot more jobs and so on. And when you look at the sort of investments that we make annually, and then you look at what we put into the creative arts sector, it's very minimal in that context. So I want to make a commitment to a significant public sector investment in the creative arts and tourism, and also bringing in the financial muscle of the Development Bank of Ghana, which was established a few years ago under our tenure to implement a special financing and guarantee support for the sector to support the creation of jobs in this area. And I think it's very important that we get the financial system involved in supporting the sector, and that is what I intend to do. We face a problem for our musicians here. There's a lot of talent, our actors and so on. There's a lot of talent, no doubt, but there's a problem in the monetization of the talent. That is the problem. How do we monetize the talent? You make a good song and we all dance to it and sing it all over the place. But as we enjoy all of that music or watch all of those films, the payments that are supposed to go to the creators don't take place. And so, whilst on the one hand, we are in the public are enjoying all of this creativity, the musicians and the actors are not getting paid. And so their talent is not getting monetized. And so you can see that we could play your song and then keep playing it across the radios and all of that. But then you end up poor, nonetheless, in your old age. And so this has been a major issue, and we've had a lot of discussions with GAMRO on how we can make sure we can monetize and monitor and monetize this talent. The other area that we have been talking about over the last couple of years has been the streaming platforms for music. If you look at it, and I know all the musicians here know this, Ghana we don't own a streaming platform locally for music. So all the streaming platforms like Spotify and so on are all externally owned. And so when we put our music on those platforms, it's not surprising that the returns in terms of the payments that are made to our musicians are very little. Very little. And they are not much to write home about in general. And so the issue for us of making sure we have a streaming platform locally for music and put in all the catalogs from A to Z that we can find in Ghana on the platforms. That has been something that has needed to be done for a long time. Outdoor, this new local streaming platform for Ghanaian musicians and for music. So I think in all likelihood next month, which is the month of November, we will launch Ghana's first local streaming platform. We are going to also look at the issue of royalties, and the GAMRO platform will be the next one, and I believe that very soon we are going to be announcing that one as well, so that they can also make sure that all the artists get their shares of the royalties. So that work is also very, very, very far advanced, and I expect that we will also support the expenses in the development of that platform, and we'll make the announcement very soon. But I think that it's really very, very important because without taking control of these particular vehicles for the streaming of music, you can't get enough out of the revenue for your own talent, monetization of that talent. It's not there. I mean, one of the things that we've seen recently, the taxi drivers, I've seen Shatta, Wale here. One of the things recently that the taxi drivers came to complain about is that they were getting pushed out by Uber and Yango and Bolt and all of that. And we didn't have local digital platforms for our local taxis to compete effectively with these. And then you see the Ubers and the Bolts and so on. They are charging commissions as high as 28%. You know, so it's very, very high, and therefore we've come together and we've done a digital platform for the local taxi drivers as well. So we will launch it before the end of this month. But I think these are, for me, I believe that we need to take control over some of these vehicles to be able to maximize their returns and so on, so that we can, with tax incentives, we are going to really get a lot more done in these sectors. The Ghana tax system generally is a complicated one, and you tend to see, whether it's the hotels, at conference centers and so on, I see complaints, a lot of complaints, which we've had over the years. Companies versus GRA, and when they audit these companies, and the tax system tends to be a little complicated. So I asked my team to do some research on looking for the most competitive tax systems in the world. And it came out that the most competitive for the last 10 years in a row, the #1 country in the world has been Estonia. That's every year they are #1 in terms of tax competitiveness. So I was curious, and we looked at it, and I took my team, took the finance ministry, took the GRA and all of that, and we went to Estonia to look at what they had done. And of course, they were a former Soviet republic, but they came up with the idea to simplify their tax system. And they introduced a flat tax system. It is very simple. If it's 10%, it's 10%. And everybody knows it's 10%. If it's 20%, it's 20%. Everybody knows. So that is it. That is just one flat tax. And that has really resulted in a lot of compliance and ease of doing business in Estonia. And the revenue base has been quite expanded and all of that. We looked at this and we thought that this flat tax system will work a lot for our businesses who grapple with many levels of taxes. And so I'll be introducing a flat tax system in Ghana next year, God willing. And we will simplify the tax regime for everybody. But to be able to make sure we all start afresh on a fresh page, I will also introduce a tax amnesty next year so that we all start afresh, so that everybody starts from ground zero, and we have a tax amnesty, and we'll move forward from there so that you don't have any problems with GRA, and you can easily calculate your tax liability. If it's 10%, it's 10%. If it's 15%, everybody can calculate that, and you don't need anybody. So that is
Your Excellency, my name is Livingston from ATWAC, Arts and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana. I've got two questions. The first one is, what will your government do to upgrade and uplift and enhance the lives of the creative arts media, bearing in mind that when it comes to the creative arts media here in Ghana, this is supposed to be the fourth estate, but unfortunately, aside less than 5% of our population across Ghana, majority of the creative arts media are neck deep in poverty and struggling to survive. Secondly, you made mention of protocol services in terms of travel, but it was tailored to the musicians and the actors. The media plays a great role in terms of promoting Ghana when there are musicians like Shatta, Wale, Prince David Osei, and the rest travel outside. We realized that, sorry? No, he's an actor. So we realized that most of the time when their counterparts come to Ghana, what happens is that if a musician or an actor is coming to Ghana, we see a lot of media interact with them, but unfortunately for us, when our artists are going outside, we have a lot of creative arts media here, we cannot go with them because of visa issues or any other issues that comes with it. What would your government do to change that narrative for us?
My friend Shatta is sitting next to me, and he's quite a talkative, so he was talking when they were bringing me the mic, so I didn't really get their attention. But on a more serious note, Your Excellency, I would like to personally say thank you very much for calling us here. And one very important thing is that most of us don't get to see each other because of how our schedules are. So it's very difficult to find ourselves together under one roof like this. But for this very important occasion, I believe everybody made it a point to be here under 48 hours, and I must commend us all in my eyes. Also, I would like to say that my personal experience as an artist, I'm coming from analog all the way down to digital. So I'm excited today to have someone like you talk digital to my understanding. So I understand that people like you in your office are on the same page with us when it comes to trying to move from analog to digital. So if a person like you is speaking about streaming platforms as against somebody in your position asking me about what a streaming platform is, then I believe we are in better days. So I'm just going to commend you. I'm just going to commend you for how learned you are in that aspect, in that area. And as Mr. Digital, if you are going to take creative arts as part of the things that you're going to digitalize, then I am happy to hear how you're going to do it. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, I was very much touched with the issue on Gamro. Very detailed. Now, I want to give you a little background, just a minute, so that it will add up to the notes you have in trying to repair the office. The problem at Gamro is that as a nation and as an office, we don't have billing rates because of login system. So what is happening is that we've categorized all the artists into segments, into categories. We have A, B, C, D to E and all that. And what happens is that the amount of money that is collected in general from radio stations that we are even struggling to collect is grouped. And then if you have 8 albums, you are in category A. If you have 10 albums, you are B in that order. So what that system is actually the reason why you hear an artist having a higher rotation of song on airway, and then he gets 150 Ghana cedis when they are sharing. Because the radio stations cannot log, particularly to say that Kwame Eugene's song has been played on Peace FM for 30,000 times. So if they go to the radio station with a billing card, they can actually say that we have collected 30,000 Ghana cedis for Kwame Eugene's music which is being played. So there's a lot of rots in that system. And so it's about governance. Because as we speak, the radio stations in Ghana do not pay royalties. And our own nation, GTV, is battling with Gamro even for paying royalties. They don't want to pay. And so, I want to argue to add up with the NCA, because every radio station and TV media house goes to NCA to renew licenses. So I want to suggest that in the system, let us ask NCA that every radio station that comes there to renew licenses, you come with a certificate that you have paid your royalties before you renew your license. This way, we will solve this issue of Gamro taking any media house to court. It's as simple as that, because until Gamro is able to receive, they cannot pay. The next thing I want to also add, Gamro is suffering from administration difficulties. The country, Ghana, is growing, Your Excellency, and in your talk, you saw the way Ghana is growing. And we need to segment Gamro into municipal offices, Kumasi, Tabernacle, all these areas, so that they can have capacity and resources to collect money. Gamro does not have offices The highest they have is the one they have at the ministry here, and then in Kumasi. And these are mushroom miniature offices with only barely like 4 computers sitting there. Look at the number and the hits these musicians are making. How can they be able to use these offices to collect money and pay to these art creators? So if we are dealing with this issue, we need to have a proper team so that we can sit down with technical system and then come up with a plan to see how we can fight, survive Gambro. Either than that, it will still be a continental degree work.
AKA Apietus, always in the mix. I want to say thank you very much for calling all of us here and trying to help our industry. God bless you for considering that. You said a lot about music. I'm a music producer, so I'm going to talk about music, basically. You talked about the fact that you are going to do streaming platforms and all that. It's brilliant. But you see, before we get to that place, the musician needs to actually record the song first. I'm a music producer, so the knocks on my door is just crazy. Mr. Apia, help me. Help me. People finish secondary school, no, they want to record. Recently, I saw what Shatta was doing, helping the youth, some young, beautiful, with his own pocket money. So we have done it. I mean, I've done it over 200 and something times. I feel like there should be some financial institution that will be able to help our industry, for people who are now coming, new talents and the rest, can go there and get some sort of grant or loan or soft loan that they can actually kickstart their careers. You know, to be able to go, because not everybody can own a studio. It's expensive. So, and if you say I'm going to build one studio for everybody to work there, that's impossible, right? The amount of artists we have now is too much. So probably also empower the already existing studios, you know, and say, okay, Apia, if we do this for you, or Kewa and that, you guys are going to give this to the up and coming artists for this price, because government is also helping you with a certain grant, so that people can kickstart, you know, their careers and become great. Because usually it's about the money. Like somebody said, the promotion, apart from the studio, you need to promote the song, so much trouble. So I think it's something worth considering that, you know, that will help. I'll be very happy. Thank you.
We started with Livingston, who was looking at how we enhance the lives of the creative arts media. And I think that generally speaking, it's very important, because you are in one industry, and this, all that we are trying to do is to really enhance the lives of the whole creative arts industry. And I think if we succeed, the whole then becomes a sum of the parts, then the media will also be enhanced in the industry. If the industry as a whole is going up, then, because, for example, you mentioned the travel protocol service that I'm going to put together. It cannot be limited only to the artists. If you have to travel with the media, we'll help the media also get the visas for you. It cannot be limited to the artists. So I think it's very, very important that we work to make sure that the whole industry, not just the performers, because you need the publicity, you need all of that, the content on the social media and all of that. So I think it's important to make sure that the media is not left behind. And I thank Sammy also for your kind comments. Christianes is the next one who talked about the problems that we have in the context of Gambro. In fact, the issue of no billing rates because there is no login system. This is in fact the new platform that has been worked on for Gambro, and that's why I said we are going to announce it. It addresses this very problem of the login systems are not, and the radio stations do not pay the royalties. At least this allows, the new platform allows better monitoring by Gambro for us to do this. But I like the suggestion, which I had not thought about before, that NCA, we should require that all the royalties are paid before the licenses are renewed. That is definitely a good idea that we can suggest to NCA, and I think that administratively, you're suggesting that there should be some decentralization of the government offices. Just makes sense because of the widespread nature of this country, and you can't do everything out of one or two offices. So I think that is the. Atiadanko also talked about the issue of financial support to up-and-coming artists who want to do recording before they get to the streaming. And I mentioned earlier that the Development Bank Ghana are going to make sure that a special vehicle to support the industry from the Development Bank Ghana is done. So I think supporting of these startups in the recording industry, the artists who are coming along can also be factored into this as well. So I think we can support up-and-coming artists in recording.
And Your Excellency, I wish to ask, is there any avenue for women in arts? Because we are not being encouraged. Most times people think the job is for only men, and I think I'm one of the only females who have been able to stand and make sure I show other women that it's possible. It is possible. And I want us to make Ghana a beautiful place where people come. We shouldn't always think of going out. We should always think of bringing people in. So I am standing in as one of the females who would want Ghana to be beautiful, and please don't forget us when you come in office. And pray that it happens next year. Thank you.
Most of the time you hear the leaders speak, and it's all about actors and music, actors and music. Besa is here. I'm very excited about that seeing Besa Music. Music actually helped the fashion industry to form modular when war was in power. And the reason was because at the time, models were being exploited. And the few that take it upon themselves to go to school to learn this profession are being exploited. When we have celebrities like my friends here, they take up the little job, like advertising and all these things that these models learn. And it looks like we've accepted that people don't really understand what models are really up to. So all we are asking for is that we are properly regularized. We want to be able to be licensed. So when people come out and they want to open modeling agencies, they get licensed before they get registered. Because at the time, models were the only acts that when a fashion designer will come and say, I want to organize a fashion show. And when they call the models for audition, they want to charge them. It was Moduga, the Models Union of Ghana, stopped all these things. And we're able to regulate the system in such a way that the models began to feel respected. And we want to enhance on that. All we are asking for tonight is to come in power. We support you very well. See my t-shirts. And I have a lot of models here. They can stand up. There are about 30. Models, stand up. I want the president to see.
Let's acknowledge our models. Thank you for coming.
And all they want to say is that they want to be respected. And the only way we can have that is that we want to be properly licensed. Nobody at all can just get up and do model's job. Or come and say that I want to open a model's industry. And then I want to ask a question to what he said. I'm also a lady reverend. I go on the street to feed these boys. One of the things I want to say is that it's very, very sad. Every Sunday you see me at Opay, all the guys there know me. And to even put money to feed them is not a joke. But it's not only about giving them money. Every Christmas we sell clothes for them. But it's not enough. Sometimes you give them the clothes and they sell it. I think what they need is rehab. Because if you pick them from the streets and you feed them and you give them anything, they'll just go back. We need very good mental rehab centers that can really help them change their mindset and know that it's possible for them to do something for themselves. Thank you very much.
Guys, good evening. Good evening to everybody. I'm so glad to be here, but initially I didn't want to come here though, but I have this big problem that I feel we can work it out together. You know, I've been watching your campaigns, you know, and you talking about creating jobs, and I can see your slogan that says, to lead is to solve, you know, and I'm actually here to just tell you about this whole great people that we have here. Maybe we might be in this room like this, but the people that made us who we are not in this room. And those are the fans. Your Excellency, I have been on the streets as a ghetto boy. And from the ghetto, now these are all these mobile pockets. So. But most of the times when I'm on the streets, I see these boys at the traffic lights, you know, some of them, you go to the zoo, you know, all of them. And I sometimes wonder if a government wants to come into power, like if you want to be my president, I want to understand how well you communicate to these people on the streets. Because these are the fans that, you know, support all of us here. But sometimes when I watch them, I feel like, what is government putting in place for people like this? Because, you know, when they hear, oh, we have the mining sector, you know, creating jobs for, we have the agriculture sector, these boys on the streets even find it difficult to be in that kind of uniform, to even go and apply for a job. These are boys that don't have any hope. So sometimes we the celebrities suffer. I know some people bear with me, Kwame Eugene here, you know, Vambika here, you know, you go out and hear them, boss, chairman, something small. And that is why sometimes people like us want to share what we have with them. So I want to know what you have for our fans out there. And that's the street. And Your Excellency, I'll please plead with you that, you see, when you want to, you know, respond to what I'm saying, for today, and there's people out there on the streets, just say it in pidgin small for me.
Who has done great work in the visual arts, women in art, I think, has made a very strong case for why we should support women in art. And I think that just recently the Affirmative Action Act was passed and it's coming into force. And this is, for me, something that we should encourage. And if we need to support more women in art, which we do, I think we should give more affirmative action to women in art. And I'm very, very agreeable to doing that in terms of making sure that you have the jobs, you have the financing to do those jobs as well. So I'm supportive. Shatta, Wale, waiting you say. The team is say, me, where are the politics? The thing with it, they my heart, no. It be the people that way they suffer for the country. It be with they my heart. Me, I be patron of Lepers Aid Ghana. Me then lepers, we they eat, we they drink, because I they want help lepers in Ghana. Me, I be farm laborer before, by day worker. I be taxi driver before. I be cleaner before. Yeah. So I say I know how people they suffer before. So when you see me, I dey patron also of Mother Teresa's Soup Kitchen, Christ the King Church, looking after street children. Me and Father Campbell when they do that sort of work. So my heart is the street. In the street, the thing where they do all, say, half of it help the people. So one of the things where you see, say, okay, free education come, it help. Digitalization to the help plenty. Because when they your mobile phone talk, you know, nobody will ask you bribe. You don't have to know anybody. You know so. You can apply for anything now in the winter, right on your mobile phone. Okay. So digital, it help everybody. You know, so me, I come government as I mean the thing we are going to do.
The destiny changer. That's your way. Surround the camp. The destiny changer. And the Bawumiah engage you on. Bawumiah, yes, soon now. Shatta Sammy flies in the best manager.
Somebody let me hear, it is possible.
It is possible. Thank you to all of you under 48 hours notice and for making time for this very important engagement. The new Media Association of Ghana Bloggers, thank you very much. The cocktail is right at the exit. His Excellency.
The creatives were invited by His Excellency Dr. Bawumiah to come around so we have a dialogue and deliberate on things that they can do to support the nation. It's appropriate that we have to come, and we have been here to contribute, to suggest things, and we hope that he will hear us and then he will take it into consideration if God makes him the President of the Republic. Thank you very much.